So my internet keeps crashing at my house. So I'm going to go ahead and be on my phone because I don't want to accidentally get kicked out of the meeting and then the meeting not have to stop and start again. But that means I'm going to probably, Dawn, I'm going to probably need a little help if people raise their hands. Sometimes when I'm on my phone, it's hard to tell who's raising their hand if they have a question.
Sure. Would you like me to let you know when I see people's hands get raised?
Yes, please. That would help.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and call to order the Nevada, let's make statewide independent living councils subcommittee on integrated workforce development. It is 9 a.m. on August 29th, 2022. And I'm going to ask Wendy if she could do a roll call.
Good morning. This is Wendy Thornley for the record. Ace Patrick.
Good morning. Here.
Thank you. Tracy Brown May. Cindy Swanson. Dora Martinez.
Present.
Kate Ostie. Leah Case.
Wendy, Cindy is here. She was just joining when you called her name.
Oh, thank you so much. Leah Case. Robin Kincaid. Sandra Cosgrove.
Here.
And Julie Wiseman Steinbach. And I see a number of guests, Dawn and Sandra.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, good morning. This is Raquel O'Neill and I'm present.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, thank you. So the next item on the agenda is public comment. Do we have anybody that would like to do public comment, knowing that we cannot take action on a matter raised during public comment?
Sandra, I do not see any hands up.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, one just went up. Cindy
Okay.
just raised her hand.
Okay.
Audio now unmuted.
Okay, it's unmuted. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because I wasn't able to unmute. My husband just helped me.
Meeting alert.
The reason I would like to speak is there is a real challenge in Nevada with folks who don't know enough about public benefits. And I brought this up several times. And I actually talked to the people who are in the legal advocacy organization, which used to do the WIPA training. And I said to them, y'all, the state failed to reapply for WIPA funding. And I was told by the person I was talking to from that organization, we did not fail, we chose not to apply for funding.
Stephen Cohen has joined the meeting.
And I thought that neither one, choosing or failing to, is not good. But what I'm learning after being here 2 years is there is failure to train people, to teach them. At the Silver State Self-Advocacy Conference, there was talk that, yes, we let them know when they're about to get a job, which is too late. And there was a round of people applauding that. In this group, this subcommittee, and I'm talking to as many committees and commissions as I can, the Colorado legislation for Employment First has educating people on public benefits as part of its legislation. Now, I was reminded by somebody in the legislature that we do have Employment First in the state, but we have no strategy to go along with that. And we have abject ignorance
Stephen Cohen has left the meeting.
what we
Stephen
can
Cohen has joined the
and can't do as employers, as employees. We're doing a lot of
Stephen
work
Cohen
on
has left the meeting.
teaching
Stephen Cohen.
employers, but the
Kate Ostie.
potential employees, Kate is on the phone, on the line. We have a lot of people who may want to work, but they are scared out of their minds for losing their benefits. And I'm not an expert, I'm not a CWIC, but anybody will tell you there's a long runway to losing benefits. You just have to be pretty strategic and careful about it. And I think I did send the Colorado information to folks, and I don't know how to go about it, but I would like us to consider that either at this meeting or a meeting coming up. This should be legislatively designed so that people understand what their rights are to benefits. And waiting until somebody's 18 is way too late. We have to start teaching families when they're 14 and in that transition phase. So I end with that, and
All right.
anybody want to get in touch with me about it, I will send them information. Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Cindy. And Dawn has actually been working really hard on this topic and has found someone that it looks like can do a presentation at the next full Silk meeting. But I'll make sure we bring this up again in this agenda when we talk about next meeting dates and agenda items. But I can tell you that Dawn has really been working hard on that issue that you just brought up.
Thank you.
This is Dawn, Dr. Castro.
Yes.
Cody Butler is raising his hand.
Okay, Cody.
This is Cody Butler. That's Butler for last name. I'm with the Nevada Youth Action Council. I'd like to talk about youth with disabilities and finding employment. I found that a lot of people have had a difficult time finding employment. I think generally for people with disabilities to find like good, stable employment with benefits, it generally requires like education and expertise in a field, and young people aren't going to have that at first.
Steve Cohen has left the meeting.
And we find that a lot of like entry positions tend to be heavily customer service focused or involve a lot of like intensive physical labor.
Raquel on
And
the meeting.
customer service positions can be pretty difficult for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And people with visible disabilities often kind of face a lot of abuse from customers, and just like a lot of ableism in that space sometimes. And then physical labor is problematic for a lot of people with disabilities for kind of obvious reasons. And so the Youth Action Council is kind of interested in collaborating with this committee to kind of find like accessible training options for young people, and really kind of like building options for employment that have benefits that are stable long-term.
Stephen Cohen has left the meeting.
Thank you, Ace, for inviting me. I know I kind of joined the subcommittee meeting last minute, so I don't have like an action item, but the Youth Action Council is interested in like kind of working with this committee further, and Donna or Wendy can kind of get you my contact info. Thank you for letting me speak and listening.
Oh, thank you so much for attending the meeting and speaking. We want to do as much collaboration as we possibly can to make sure that we're not, reinventing the wheel, or that we're moving in the right directions. So we definitely are going to want to reach out to see if we can put some agenda items up for our next meeting, and to make sure if there's presentations that you would like to see, that we're helping with that.
This meeting this morning, Cody. Welcome.
All right, awesome, thank you.
All right, so really appreciate it. Does anybody else want to do public comment?
So
Hi, this is Dora Martinez. May I
yes,
go
Dora.
ahead?
Zoom.
Yes.
Okay. Good morning. I just want to let everybody know that Alex Goff was one of the three nominees for the Ward 5 here in the North area, Reno, because one of our the former Ward Council stepped down because she got a better job offer. So Alex Goff, I think all of you know him, is for one of that, is going to be nominated for that seat. Let's hope he makes it, because there's three of them. So they're going to have a like a public debate, I think tonight and tomorrow. So wish him luck. And one more thing is,
Everyone. Thank you,
I
Ace.
was wondering if we could do, and this is maybe just one of the recommendations, this, if it's okay with everybody, when we talk, if we could self-describe ourselves, like audio description, because I'm totally blind and I always wonder what Sandra looks like, or if anybody has a disability. So, because you all know I'm blind, and Cindy's also been, let everybody know that she's also blind. So just sort of level the playing field. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And we definitely want to make sure we're being as accessible and as inclusive as possible. So there might be an ability to add that to an agenda item, or it's just something that I can make sure and ask folks to do when they're speaking. So I appreciate that. Is there any other public comment?
This is Dawn Lyons. I don't see any other hands up except Cindy. Did you have something else to say?
No.
Because your hand is up.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Hold by menu, hand now lowered, leaving menus.
All right. Thank you to everybody that provided public comment. We are now going to go to agenda item number 3, which is approval of meeting minutes from March 8th, 2022, Integrated Workforce Development Subcommittee. Do I have a motion to approve?
This is Ace. I want to make a motion that we approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Stephen Cohen has left the meeting.
Okay, so we have Ace
Stephen
has a
Cohen has joined the
motion.
meeting.
Do I have a second?
This is Dawn Lyons. I'll second.
Okay, I have a second. Are there any recommendations for suggestions or edits before we take the final vote on the meeting minutes? Okay, hearing none. We have a motion and a second. So all those in favor of approving the meeting minutes from March 8th, 2022, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. All right, hearing no nays, the meeting minutes are approved. Now we are going to go to agenda item number 4, which is a presentation and discussion regarding vocational rehabilitation's employer training modules. So we have Erica Brown who is the business account manager at the Rehabilitation Division, Department of Employee Training and Rehabilitation. So Erica, if you want to go ahead and unmute, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Sandra. Again, my name is Erica Brown. I am from the Bureau of Vocational Rehabilitation, and I'm a business account manager. Specifically, what I do is reach out to employers in our community and introduce them to an untapped labor force, which are qualified, work-ready individuals with
I'm
disabilities.
sorry, I cannot understand that. It's like staticky.
Erica, this is
Oh.
Dawn Lyons. Do you have a headset you could put on, or?
Yes, I do have a headset. Can you hear me a little bit better? I've been having trouble with my audio.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of interference and static in the background as you speak.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Bear with me for a moment. I apologize. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's about the same, I think.
Okay. I took off my headphones.
Maybe you could try and call back in again. I think it's just the connection. It's really bad for my ears.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. Let me see if I can call in. Bear with me.
Stephen Cohen has joined the meeting. Stephen Cohen has left the meeting. New notification from Realtek HD Audio Manager information. You just unplugged the Stephen Cohen has joined the meeting. Realtek.
I apologize. I'm having a little trouble getting into the meeting. Can you hear me?
It's still very staticky.
Okay. Let me try again. I'm sorry about that.
Stephen Cohen has left the meeting. Stephen Cohen has joined the meeting. Alan Gilbert has joined the meeting.
Okay, can you hear me better now? Oh, it's an echo.
Yeah, it's clearer, but there is an echo.
Sandra, you've just echoed.
Can you hear me better now without the echo?
Erica, you may have to leave the computer Zoom meeting and just participate on the phone if that's okay. If you have any visuals, I do have the materials were attached that you sent to me before. I could show them on the screen if you'd like me to.
From Ace Patrick to everyone. One of those fun tech mornings rolling on the floor laughing.
Hi, can I help you?
From Erica Brown to everyone. I will try and leave the meeting. Erica Brown has left the meeting.
Okay, can you hear me now?
without the echo?
Yes, much better.
Okay. I'm so sorry about that. Like Ace was saying, it's one of those mornings. I hope that was some comic relief for you.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's why
this
I'm on my
Um,
phone. I was having the same problem.
Yeah, this is Ace. It's so much better now, Erica. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your patience, everyone. So let me start again. Again, I reach out to employers in our community and introduce them to qualified individuals with disabilities. And part of that cultivating of the relationship with employers is presenting disability awareness workshops. In the workshops that we present, my colleague in the North, her name is Lori Caldwell. And what we do is present 4 modules of a disability training called Windmills. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
We
We
can
didn't
now.
hear after
Yeah.
windmill.
Yeah.
you dropped
Okay,
off.
sorry about
Yeah,
that.
you cut out.
Okay. There was another call coming in my phone. I was trying to switch so I wouldn't get interrupted, but I still did. Sorry about that. So we present the Windmills presentations either virtually or in person. And just to give a little bit of background about Windmills, it's a training curriculum which was developed by the California Governor's Committee on Employment of People with Disabilities in 1981. And until 2005, there were several revisions and modifications to Windmills to reflect the most current language, laws, technology, and social trends relating to the culture of disability. So in 2016, the Windmills modules were updated by Milt Wright, who took over and associates to reflect recommendations again and current issues related to the American with Disabilities Act Amendment Act. So they're constantly updating the Windmills curriculum, and we get, refresher to make sure that we're still providing accurate information according to the Americans with Disabilities Act. The main purpose and goal of Windmills is based on the concept that attitudes about persons with disabilities are instrumental in informing behaviors towards individuals with disabilities. If supervisors change the attitudes they have towards individuals with disabilities, they'll be more open to changing their own behaviors, and this will promote the employment and advancement of persons with disabilities. So not only are we wanting to utilize this resource with employers to provide basic etiquette in regards to disability culture as far as language, but also to provide insight on what individuals with disabilities should be evaluated based on their skills, abilities, and experience, and not their disability, and just to continue to reinforce that. There are 12 modules in the Windmills program. We had selected 4 of the most, what we feel were the most effective modules. And I don't know if you have this on the screen, Dawn, the Windmills overview, but I'll go ahead and read it.
Yes.
Of the 4 modules. Okay. So again, the Windmills program workshops are geared towards supervisors, human resources, and other decision-making staff managers. The first module is called Disability Fact or Fiction, and the discussion topics include addressing situations that might occur in the workplace regarding reasonable accommodations, facilitate awareness of respectful etiquette and language while creating a comfortable work environment for all employees, and to familiarize participants with some of the basics of disability employment law. In this workshop, there's how it's very interactive, and how it is, the format is laid out is there's 25 questions. It's a 25 question exercise, and each question focuses on employment-related matters, interviewing, communicating effectively with someone, for instance, who is deaf or hard of hearing, appropriate etiquette when entering a room with a coworker who might be blind or visually impaired. And then the second module is reasonable accommodations module, and this is about 20 minutes to half an hour. I apologize, the first module is about an hour. The second module, reasonable accommodations, is the topics includes acquainting participants with the creative process and identifying possible reasonable accommodations. And we provide examples of reasonable accommodations and barriers that individuals might be facing based on their disability, but it's not an exhaustive list. It's basically to encourage the interactive communication process to develop accommodations, and to sensitize participants to a wide range of disabilities that might occur or might require, rather, reasonable accommodations. The third module is taking the emotion out of emotional disabilities, and that's 20 minutes to half an hour. And this module is to demonstrate that employers are more effective at brainstorming reasonable accommodation ideas for persons with physical and sensory disabilities than they are for persons with.
I'm sorry, Erica. There's some background noise.
Okay.
I'm not sure who needs to mute. Thank you. Sorry, Erica. Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. No worries. Thank you. So yes, module 3 again is taking the emotion out of emotional disabilities. And again, this is to demonstrate that employers are more effective at brainstorming reasonable accommodation ideas for persons with physical and sensory disabilities than they are for persons with emotional disabilities. And this is, module is focused on exploring the effects of employers' reactions to emotional disabilities or invisible disabilities, and to provide a way for employers to consider reasonable accommodations for persons with emotional disabilities in an emotionally neutral and unbiased environment. So this module addresses unconscious bias in regards to individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities, emotional and psychiatric disabilities. And the last module is called Profiles, and again, a half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour, and it examines how stereotyping of persons with disabilities may impact employment decisions, and to remind participants to evaluate each participant on a case-by-case basis, again, based on their experience, education, and skill set, and exploring assumptions about good and bad jobs for certain disabilities. For instance, low skilled positions that that employers might feel would be a good fit for someone who might have an intellectual disability. And that's basically all 4 modules that we provide to employers. We make sure that after the presentations are completed, we send resource information regarding the Nevada Equal Rights Commission if they need technical advice about being in compliance with the Americans with Disability Act. Also, the Job Accommodation Network is another resource that we discussed during the presentations, and we send that information again to the employers. And with that, that's just a brief overview of the program that we offer, and it's at no cost to employers through the state of Nevada, again, Bureau of Vocational Rehabilitation, and they can request to have all of the modules presented in one day or break them up into 2 or just 1 based on their availability, the availability of their staff. And again, right now we have been very successful in presenting them virtually. That seems to be the most convenient way to get all the staff. And sometimes staff might be in other states, so that seems to be very useful option.
Thank you so much. This has been so informative. Does anybody have questions for Erica? Erica, are you okay accepting questions?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then Dawn, if you could help me with the folks who are raising hands.
Sure, this is Dawn Lyons. I actually had a question initially, and then Cindy looks like she raised her hand after me.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you, Erica, it sounds like you're saying that these trainings, all of the modules are voluntarily given according to what the employer would like. Is that what you're saying? Or are they like required for these employers to participate and go through these trainings?
Thank you for the question, Dawn. That's an excellent question. Yes, they are voluntary. So we make recommendations of which module might be best to start out with, usually disability fact or fiction, because it just kind of tests what folks might already know or reinforce what they have, their perspectives on disability culture. They aren't required to participate in any of the modules. When we go out, when Lori and I go out and do canvassing and outreaching to employers, this is part of the services that we provide is, delivering disability awareness training to their staff to help morale and to also just educate as an education, continuing education for their staff.
Okay, Dr. Cosgrove, it looks like Cindy Swanson is next and then Dora after her.
Okay,
Thank
Cindy.
you. Thank you. This is Cindy Swanson, and I've got a lot of questions because this is new to me.
Okay.
So if it gets repetitive, maybe you and I can make a phone call offline or something, but this is new to me. First of all, Erica, I'm glad this process exists in Nevada. It's one end of the employment strand that needs to happen. So how is it that a potential employer, say one of the casinos, says, I want this? Is it your outreach process that brings people in, employers in, or how do they know about it, that this exists?
Yes, that's exactly. It is outreach. When I actually partner with the Employment Security Division, which is another division of the Department of Employment and Training, state of Nevada, they are focused on employer outreach as well. So when they are doing outreach, they mention that there is this service that the Bureau of Vocational Rehabilitation provides in delivering disability awareness training to your staff or to their staff, particularly their management staff. That's one way we get the word out. We also, last week I delivered windmills training to the Small Business Administration virtually. So, small business organizations like this are another way. It's mainly word of mouth. And, one business, management team might talk to another in the casino industry and say, oh, we went through this training, was very helpful, and kind of demystifying disability employment related matters. I think it would be a good idea for you to, request this training as well. So that's kind of how we get the trainings out there.
My next question is, is the training a pre-scripted process? Is it a kind of a video? And I guess what I'm getting at is, are you and the person up north doing the training, are there individuals with disabilities part of the training?
That's a great question. Not yet, but that's something that I'd like to speak to my supervisor management about. Is also, we have colleagues in vocational rehabilitation, counselors, rehabilitation counselors that do have disabilities, are individuals with disabilities, individuals that are deaf and hard of hearing, and also blind. And we'd love to partner and have them provide their perspective and be a part of the training.
Thank you, Erica. And I can't emphasize enough, and I think there are people on this call who would say statewide independent living council, independent living
Stephen
is
Cohen has left the meeting.
nothing about us without us. So I would encourage the inclusion of individuals with disabilities cross-categorically. And I'm referring to folks with developmental disabilities, all those kinds of things. So I would really encourage that, because it doesn't, it means less if we are not at the table. And it's somewhat frustrating when things get involved and we haven't been talked to and they're not in the right place or whatever. So anyway, just encourage that. Thank you so much, Erica, for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for your suggestion.
Okay, I think Dora was next.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for the information, Erica. I was wondering, maybe you
Hold on,
guys should
hand now
do you
lowered.
guys have a social media platform? That could be good to reach out. I forgot to mention this, but on Monday or Thursday last week, Ace and I were, we presented at the City of Reno talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, and A, for accessibility. It's not an afterthought. And I think that's what's happening here. So I think I would second what Cindy was saying, that it is important to include people with disability because it does mean more. And I think if you have a social media platform, for instance, City of Reno and other counties would be able to request that, because one of the council person here in the north was asking about how to employ a person with disability. They didn't even know about you guys. So that shows that maybe you're not reaching as far or right underneath your nose as you would like. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate that comment. And you're right. I think that there needs to be more of an assertive effort to make sure that we're getting our message to as many employers as possible. We do try to go do a lot of outreach. We're out in different networking events and discussing our services and encouraging employers to talk to their management about requesting the disability awareness workshops.
So this is Dawn. It looks like Ace Patrick has her hand up next.
Yes, Ace.
Hi. Yeah, hi, thanks. Thanks, Erica, for this presentation. I'm going to piggyback on what Cindy and Dora said, also about the nothing without us. I was wondering, are you also talking to any of the employees that are working for these employers that are taking this training to see how effective this training has been from their perspective, from an employee perspective?
Not yet. Our main focus is recruitment and retention of individuals with disabilities and discussing ways that they can help create a more inclusive environment. And so that we've been focused on, reaching out to the decision makers and managers. We have it. Folks are invited, staff is invited to participate in the training as well, but we haven't spoken directly to the staff, no.
Oh, okay, because I was wondering how, from their perspective, how effective they feel the training is, or whether employers are just sitting through the training and then it's the same old for them. Okay, I was just curious, about that as well. So thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. I'm writing notes. Thank you for all of your comments. This is very helpful. Thank you.
This is Dawn Lyons. I would also like to follow up with a question about the employers that you do reach out to are based on your clientele, based on your consumers that are going through the process of being employed through Voc Rehab. Is that correct?
Yes, and just the individuals with disabilities, whether they're participating in Voc Rehab or are individuals who are already working with the employer. So we focus on retention and self disclosure and creating a environment where people with individuals with disabilities will feel comfortable with disclosing their disability.
So I guess my follow-up question to that then is there an effort to reach out to employers who are not participating yet or who are not necessarily placement possibilities yet for your clients?
Yes, as far as just employers, we usually the employers that we reach out to are in all different industries. So they don't necessarily have participants that are employees. We try to reach out not just to warehouses or retail, but all the entire spectrum and all industries.
And this is Dawn again. I just wanted to remind the folks that are here participating that, you know, we only have a couple of rules, the SILC does, about our subcommittees, and that is, and for quorum, that is, and that's only that the chair is appointed by the SILC chair, and that we at least have 2 members of the full SILC present to have quorum, but anyone who is here is allowed to participate and ask questions if they want to. So I just wanted to remind everyone, if they have questions, they don't need to be afraid to speak up.
Please, the more questions, the better. I really appreciate your interest in this topic and your feedback.
So does anyone else have questions?
So this is Dawn Lyons. I guess I'd like to maybe have a work group on this topic and see if we can brainstorm some ideas on how we could help Erica, maybe with some of the things that she's written down, maybe how we could help participate in improving the process or improving how many employers they can reach out to, or whatever ideas we have. Does that sound like a good idea to you, Erica?
Yes, that's excellent. And I will, Ken Pearson is my manager, and I will relay that information to him, as well as Lori, my coworker in the North, so we could all maybe participate in a work group. And
just so that, like, as most of our questioners ask, you know, so that this is nothing about us without us, you know, so that we can participate.
Yeah.
People with disabilities can provide their input.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is Ace. I think that's a good idea, Dawn. I really do.
Yeah, this is Sandra. I really like that idea.
I do too, and maybe we can set that up in the next several weeks based on your schedule and convenience.
Yeah, this is Dawn again, Erica. If you want to speak with Ken and get back to me, and then I can go ahead and reach out to Sandra or Dr. Cosgrove and let her know what that outcome is with your boss, and then we can set something up moving forward from there.
Okay, that sounds great. I'll do that today. We have a staff meeting this afternoon, so that'll be one of the things we discuss.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And no worries, I don't need to be Dr. Cosgrove on these meetings. We're all friends. I'm Sandra. It's perfectly fine with me. If there's no more questions, Erica, I appreciate this so much. So I really appreciate this.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. And I really appreciate the opportunity to present this to you. And as well, and again, I apologize for all the technical difficulties in the beginning.
No worries whatsoever, because I gotta say, I'm happy to be on my phone too, because I was having gremlins in my system.
Yes,
From Ace
they're
Pack,
busy this
everyone.
morning.
Thanks, Erica.
Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and move on to agenda item number 5 and just provide just a couple short statements about the Silver State Advocacy Conference that was at the beginning of the month, and I saw many of you there. I did a presentation on doing advocacy with our legislature, and I'm really glad that I did, because I came to understand that they've done a lot with ADA compliance in that website, the legislative website, but the whole process is not very accessible for people who have hearing difficulties. And so I wrote up all the notes that I took and the questions that I heard, and I sent them over to the Legislative Counsel Bureau and said, you all need to be very aware. We need to be thinking about sign language interpreters, and we need to be thinking about transcription that's accurate. So I really appreciated that conference. I know some of you were there. Does anybody else want to talk about maybe a workshop you attended?
This is Dawn. Dora, did you have your hand up, or is that still up from the last question you had? Oh, she put her hand down. Okay. I don't see any other hands up, but I was in attendance. This is Dawn Lyons.
Yeah, go ahead, Dawn.
The Silk actually, with Kate Osty and John Rosenlund and Saber McWhorter, we put on an independent living introduction and explanation sort of workshop, and described what we do as a council and how independent living works. And I thought that other than the technical difficulties that we ran into, because I don't think it was transmitted virtually as we intended, because we had to switch computers. But other than that, I believe the workshop went well, and the people that were in attendance left with a better understanding of independent living. So that was a small success, but you know, any small success is a big success in my eyes. So I really thought the rest of the conference, I would have liked to have attended your workshop, Sandra. I'm not sure where I was at the time. I know there were a few conflicts that I had to choose.
Right, there was like 3 workshops running at the same time.
Yeah, but the ones that I sat in on were fantastic, and I thought that it was a great networking opportunity for the vendors, as well as a really good place to find information for consumers. And you know, I really thought the conference went well, and I was appreciative that the Governor's Council on Developmental Disabilities included all the other partners in the state, because that's something that we see eye to eye on, as far as, you know, the Silk and the DD Council is getting together and really becoming stronger as partners.
All right, thank you. Anybody else that went to a workshop you want to talk about?
Sandra, this is Dora. I really enjoyed, I mean, I did join virtually because I couldn't come. So I sort of went between sessions, but I also want to echo what you were saying, you know, in terms of accessibility with the LCB's site, because I don't know if you know, but the bottom, it says Adobe, and not everybody has Adobe capabilities. And that's another skill to be learned. So, and I think it's important that when, and I've been trying to get this across all 63 reps, you know, when they do public comment, or when a public submit public comment or anything, and the National Congress does this, they should have parameters, you know, on what to accept, you know, so they could say it has to be on Word, not scanned. So that way it makes the LCB's job easier when they put it on the Nellis. So when, as a blind, you know, advocate, when I go into Nellis and try to look for certain someone or a lobbyist public comment, I can read it without going through the process of having somebody's at their convenient time to convert it to an accessible format. So it would be great from the get-go if the LCB have parameters saying,
Yes, Nora.
you know, we accept Word document, scanned is not acceptable, because that's what it does at the DC. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but there you go. But I do appreciate what you were doing. So thank you. I hope I make sense.
No, that makes sense because people sometimes don't realize when you scan it, it becomes an image item.
Yes.
And then the JAWS reader won't work with it anymore. So
Right.
thank you for saying that. 'Cause I'm going to add
Yeah.
that to the list of things that I'm going to send over to the LCB as a full report. Okay, yeah, but I think I probably learned as much putting on the workshop as people did who were attending the workshop. So I really enjoyed that, the whole conference. Anything else anybody wants to talk about the conference before we move on to agenda item number 6?
I don't see any hands up.
Okay, then we're going to move on to agenda item number 6. Is there any member announcements or events that anyone would like to bring up now?
So this is Dawn Lyons for the record. I don't see any of their hands up, but I did have one. Disability Awareness Day is going to be on October 8th. That's a Saturday in Las Vegas for those of you in the South. It's again going to be at Lorenzi Park, Sammy Davis Jr. Area of the Lorenzi Park. It's all the way in the back, in case you haven't been there before. And it's a huge event, and the Silk is going to have a vendor table there, as well as many of our partners. Kate, I'm sure Disability Advocacy and Law Center will be there, and several others that we're familiar with seeing and partnering with. And it should be a great opportunity for anyone who's interested in learning more about Silk's Youth Action Council to come and talk with the youth leader, Cody Butler. He will be there. So I was excited about that and wanted to mention, if you know anyone who wants to learn more about Silk or the Youth Action Council, send them our way at Disability Awareness Day. And then I also wanted to bring up the Buddy Walk that's happening at, it's going to be at Town Square in Las Vegas. So again, another Southern event. This is being put on by the Down Syndrome Organization of Southern Nevada. And Peter Whittingham is the chair of that board. And he was really hoping that, we could get a bunch of partners together to march and the Buddy Walk and hold our banners high in unity and our goals as a disability community to, aligned with each other's goals to stand in unity. So I thought that was a great concept, and it sounds like it's going to be a great event. So that is going to be on, I believe, a Sunday, October 16th. And that'll start at 8 a.m. and I believe it lasts until 2 p.m. So if you need more information about that, feel free to reach out to me and I can send you more info. And then I wanted to mention one last thing, because I know that we're going to get into future topics for the next meeting. And I wanted to reiterate the fact that, Sandra and I have been working hard on trying to get the WIPA representative to come and give us a training or talk about what Cindy Swanson was so concerned with. And so we finally found the right person, I believe, with Julie Taylor's help. Julie Taylor is the WIPA representative in Colorado or Nevada. And now it's just a matter of making the arrangement for which day of the Silk meeting she'll be coming to present. And because I believe her presentation is about an hour long. So not sure if the 12th or 13th is going to work better for her, but we're working on that and we will keep you updated on that and make sure you know about it before it happens. So the other thing is that we just talked about having a work group with Erica, and like I said, I'll keep you guys in the loop on that. I'll make sure that you get the information as we make further plans. Thank you, Sandra.
All right, thank you. Does anyone else have any announcements or events that you would like to let us know about?
Looks like Cindy has her hand up now.
Okay, Cindy.
Dawn, thanks for the reminder, because October is Developmental Disability Employment Awareness Month. And back in the old days, we used to do a lot with our city councils and proclamations and that sort of thing. And last year, I tried to get the proclamation in accessible format. And this goes back to what Dora was saying. Everything needs to be born accessible, because I asked for the proclamation and I was told by some office up in Carson City that it can't be done. So what I had wanted to do was take the proclamation, take it to my city council and say, for awareness kind of things. So that again harkens back to that whole thread of us being able to do what we need to do. But October is I think it's Down Syndrome Awareness Month, it's Employment Information Month. So we're kind of short on time now, but it would maybe for the future, next year, this subcommittee starts working on what we can do to let everybody know about that. Because I think it's a very valuable time linking in what Erica is doing. So anyway, just thought I would remind us of that reminder. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. Anyone
Sandra,
else?
this is Dora.
Yeah, go ahead, Dora.
Thank you, Cindy and Dawn.
Oh.
I appreciate that. You guys also reminded me that October 15, which is Saturday, is a White Cane Awareness Day. And here I've already written and requested a proclamation on behalf of Nevada Council of the Blind. So we might, and Ace, I will keep you in loop. We might have a buddy walk at the University of Nevada, Reno, since I have a good rapport with them for Awareness Day as well. And so I just want to give a shout out. So thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Dora. Anyone else?
This is Dawn Lyons. I just wanted to point out also, this is October is Disability Awareness Month in general. So yeah, it's a huge month for disability awareness, no matter what population or what type of disability you have. So that's it's great that all these events are happening and that we can get the word out. Also, I wanted to mention that Ace and I met with the Administrator of Aging and Disability Services recently, Dina Schmidt, and we did provide feedback that the state's PDF accessible documents are not as accessible as we would hope that they would be to everybody that has trouble accessing PDFs or the Adobe format. And so we did give them that feedback and mentioned that it could have been avoided when in the planning process they had consulted with people with disabilities, because we could have easily told them what was accessible and what is not, and what is the best accessible documents. So I did mention that. Ace and I talked to her about it, and so she is aware that we need to be in more of the planning processes. We did stress that big time.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm taking down all these notes. If there's nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and move on to agenda item number 7. And I think for our next meeting, we'll obviously need to send out a poll to committee members. But what I'd like to do is to take all the notes that we've written down for this meeting and do follow-ups on these topics at our next meeting. Is there anything else anybody would like to put on the agenda for the next meeting for sure?
Yeah, this is Dawn Lyons. I think a follow-up to all of these would be an awesome idea, and revisiting the trainings for employers is a good idea too. See what the work group came up with.
All right, perfect. So I'll just go through my notes, and then Dawn and you and I can kind of cross-check to make sure we cover everything that's been said today. The next agenda item is agenda item number 8, public comment. Does anybody have public comment that they would like to provide at this time?
Sandra, this is Dora. I'm sorry, you guys. It's just really troublesome trying and raise my hand. So
No, go
I
ahead. You're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So I really was hoping that, on behalf of this subcommittee, that we would do a BDR request, but I understand it's a little bit late unless, we know somebody really well. And I'm trying to do a accessible museum. I'm still working on it with one of the representative, because I don't know about you all, but when I go to the museum, I really do not want my daughter describing things, because it kind of takes the bonding away. I mean, it does have bond, but it kind of takes the whole purpose away from, going to the museum with your child. So that's one of the things that I'm doing for accessible museums in the state. So I will try and reach out to Ace, if you don't mind. Ace, I'm just kind of putting your name out there a lot, but you are my digital sister, same with Cindy. So I will try and do that. And if it goes well, I hope you don't mind that that we work together with this. And I was hoping for support from this subcommittee if it goes through.
Oh, absolutely.
So
No,
Thank you.
yes, absolutely.
And
Anyone
then
else?
Julie Steinbach has her hand up.
Yes, Julie.
I think she's trying to unmute.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. Go ahead.
Julie Steinbach. I have a kind of a crazy idea. I was watching America's Got Talent last week, and they were interviewing Courtney Lee. I don't know if you guys know who she is. Do you know who he is?
No. Julie, can you say his name again?
Courtney Lee. He won America's Got Talent a couple years ago, and he experiences autism, and he performs on the strip. Anyway, long story short, they were interviewing him, and the first thing he said was, "I love my job." How many people with significant disabilities have the ability to make that supposed statement? I was just wondering if there's a way we can reach out to him or his representative and just try to get him involved in what we're doing, just for the sake of name recognition. Like I said, it's a crazy idea.
No, it's not a crazy idea. I think it's a great idea.
I don't know where we would start, but I was just so excited to hear him say those words that I thought that's kind of the way we could use his position to further what we want to do.
Well, I'm certainly willing to try and reach out to him and find out, because I think that's a good idea. I like it.
Okay. Cool. If you want to talk more, reach out.
Okay.
This is Ace. Julie, if you could possibly, or somebody else, please put his name in chat, because I couldn't quite understand what his name was.
This is Dawn Lyons, and I'd also like to mention that although Assemblywoman Tracy Brown May has had a couple of sessions that Stephen Cohen has hosted that has allowed people from the disability community to express what we would like to see as BDRs moving forward, because I know that was mentioned by Dora, that we're not completely ignoring that, and we have put ideas out to her, and I know she has some ideas that she's putting forward for BDRs. However, I did feel a little bit like some of our suggestions just dropped to the ground and did not get forwarded. So we were interested in working on deciding who we should reach out to regarding what issues, and then that therein, you know, is well, I should just say that because we already had the opportunity to voice those concerns and they didn't go anywhere, it set us back a little bit in the process. So we aren't necessarily dropping those issues.
Patrick to everyone. Thank you, Julie. I am unaware of who he is.
And we definitely want to continue looking into those things, and hopefully we can find someone who will champion some of those ideas for us. So if anyone has any ideas, we do have a legislative subcommittee. We don't have a meeting set yet, but we were planning on meeting at the beginning, at least, of the federal fiscal year, after the first silk meeting of the federal fiscal year in October. So hopefully soon we can get our ideas together, and I'd really like you to reach out to me if you have specific ideas so that we could get that topic on our agenda and we can really pull resources in that we need to. But I know that's separate from this subcommittee, but there are subcommittee issues from this one that can be forwarded to the legislative subcommittee. So if we have BDR ideas, that would be the place.
Oh, my hand now raised.
Thank you. Does Cindy have her hand raised?
Yes, thank you. This is Cindy Swanson. I am so impressed. I keep repeating it, the Colorado legislation on employment first. The high points of that legislation is it brings all these groups together. It brings Silk, it brings all the different organizations like aging and disability, voc rehab, and they are required to be at the same table at the same time, and also stakeholders. I was just so impressed with that legislation. Would I be violating any open meeting if I sent it to this committee to look at, to maybe say, okay, let's pass this on to the legislative committee as a DBR for the future?
Oh, no, you can send it. You can, that's fine. You can send it to me or Dawn.
Okay, and then we can circulate it. Again, it's the open meetings laws kind of makes me a little bit nervous. I don't want to put us in a bad situation.
So this is Dawn Lyons, and I can easily post it on our website newsfeed if I have a link to a website or something like that, so that the public can also look at that as well.
Okay, all righty, thank you.
Oh, my hand now.
Okay, so anyone else have public comment? Okay, then, well, we have come to the end of a very productive meeting. I always enjoy spending time with you all because we're extremely productive. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I believe you can just adjourn.
All right, then we're just going to adjourn. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hold F4. Leave meeting button to activate. Press space.